Good afternoon, this is Carla Delaney on BizBuzz. My first guest today, Elton Boocock from Urban Media in High Wycombe, is an online specialist, does all sorts of things, websites, and he's just written a book. Can you tell me why you've done that, Elton?
Yeah, why have I done it, Carla? It's easier now to say than before. It's because I just want to reach as many people as I can with what I call internet marketing, the full story, and that's the title of the book. What we do here a lot of is, whilst we're trying to embrace this digital stuff, shall we call it, there's a lot of gurus and experts, and since it's not been around for that long, how can you be the guru and expert? And there's so much money wasted online, as much as there is to be made online. And I've got a story going back over a lot of years where I've seen business success and business failure through online, and I wanted to put across the full story because, you know, there's lots of great stuff. You know, there's some social media campaigns that have really been effective, but there's also lots of people spending lots of time on social media and it's not effective. So, you know, I wanted to get the balance out there in a book.
And can you explain just in a nutshell what social media is for people that don't know?
Yeah, sure. I mean, social media seems to cover the anything from the Facebook type sites and LinkedIn, YouTubes and Flickrs, so the sort of video, but really it talks about the more interactive side of online. So it's about having communication online, two-way communication. So we're going to see more and more of it, but it's how do we embrace it and actually not just waste a lot of time doing it, but actually get some results from it, because it's just another medium for us to use within our businesses.
Now, I've brought with me today my digital camera, my digital recorder, all kinds of digital, and people think, oh wow, but yeah. I see that as the future for my business, which is PR, and I'm going to try and put that up on website. I use Facebook and LinkedIn, but I'm not a great fan of Twitter at the moment. Can you tell me about Twitter? Okay,
Twitter, I can't really knock it too much, because whilst we're having this interview on Twitter in a way, so if people go and have a look at Elton Boocock on Twitter, they'll see the tweets coming out. So Twitter's useful for gathering people in and starting conversations. You know, you're not going to have the full communication over 140 characters, which of course is what Twitter is. But used wrongly, I think Twitter is it's the biggest hole, as it were, potentially. So you've got to use it right, otherwise you are going to spend a lot of time wasted.
So what's wrong? What shouldn't we be doing?
Okay, a lot of people on Twitter tend to just blast out messages. So it's all about saying, I'm taking, as I use in my seminars, I say, taking Fluffy the dog for a walk. I mean, of what interest is that to me as a fellow business person? So this tends to be the bad use of Twitter. However, a good use may be, let's say you're a DIY company and you're looking out for people talking about their DIY disasters. You know, now you can start to have a conversation and really plug in and start helping people. And that then leads on to a further conversation. So bad use, just telling everybody everything you're doing each minute of the day. Good use, starting to interact with people and helping.
You just said you've been Twittering while we've been talking. How on earth have you done that?
Well, that's the beauty, of course, of the smartphone. You know, and this is the thing for me with digital. You know, what is digital? Because it used to be that we had the PC and the Mac brigade, and you had to make your website and your communications suitable for both. But of course now, what device will we actually be consuming our digital media through? And a lot of it is on smartphones, you know, so the BlackBerries, the iPhones, etc. And there's many businesses that don't yet have a smartphone-ready website because they've just not considered it.
And what is a smartphone-ready website then?
You see, okay, so if you go to most people's websites looking through your smartphone, what you're going to see is one of two things. You're either going to see the top left-hand corner, or you're going to see the whole website shrunk down to a tiny screen. And yet people just want information. They want to grab that information from you much like they would if they'd gone onto your website through a computer. So we build now a lot of versions of websites, so that if you went along, let's say, to the Urban Media website, if you looked at it on your computer and you looked at it from your smartphone, you'd see two different websites. And they're deliberately made so that the user, the visitor, can get the information in the most effective way based on the device that they're using.
Well, I didn't know about that, and there's plenty more I don't know about, which I will find out from my guest today. I just will remind everybody that this is BizBuzz, and my name is Carla Delaney, and this is my Wednesday afternoon regular slot. I was just telling you on the way in, I heard a rather gloomy-doomy interview. Well, it could be gloomy-doomy for those who are thinking in the past, because it was all about how sales of Guardian newspaper have been suffering, like all newspapers, and advertising sales down, classifieds virtually wiped out, and they were saying that unless people embrace digital media, they've had it.
Carla, we're in a changing environment for businesses. You know, I mean, even from when we started and looking at the sort of search engine type stuff, even that's changing. It's going a lot more social media now. So certainly for the offline business, they really need to understand online. I mean, look at Blockbuster. Blockbuster Video being a classic, where that's a business who were so dominant in that video and DVD market, but they failed to embrace digital quick enough. So along comes I Love Film, and suddenly they're no longer the major player. So I think for all the businesses, it's really about how do we embrace digital. I mean, we do free seminars, ebooks, we do a range of things. Webinars obviously are the sort of the new medium. So
and what's a webinar?
Okay, so the webinar is effectively giving a presentation over the internet. So it means that you sat at home or the office can log in through your computer and watch somebody else delivering a presentation. And again, I think we're going to see more and more of this type of technology used across business.
There is one case that I found really interesting about a Subaru that was found thanks to the internet.
Do you know what? It's so fascinating, Carla, especially we've got our Urban Media All-Star Rally coming up, which is this charity banger rally that we run. And we do a lot with Santa Pod. So it was interesting that this car stolen from Santa Pod, then tracked down via social media, and that was Facebook, I think, originally, and tweets and so on. And then it arrives in Maidenhead of all places. So I hope it's not somebody who's coming on the rally who decided they might have a Subaru. But no, very interesting, and it shows how things are changing. You can't escape now with this social media around you.
And this rally, this is new to me. So tell me a little bit about that then.
Now the rally is we do this every year. £200 bangers. Lots of teams involved. This year we've got 13 teams involved, and it's all about raising money for charity. Originally, one of the guys at work, Simon, was going to do a stag do where they did this thing, and I thought actually there's a better use for that. This could be used to raise some good money for some good local charities. So Simon and another colleague, Justin, set about organising the first event. Since then it's been taken on by a couple of the different companies that are involved in it, and we leave next Thursday morning, so we set off on the 30th, and we're going to Rotterdam, around the Nürburgring, over to Prague, and back again. So it'll be good to get back around the Nürburgring. We've spoken before, it's certainly one of my favourite tracks to race with the truck, so I'm going to enjoy taking around my £200 canal boat of all things.
Now, where can people find out about this? Obviously they might hear of it now, but they might say,
Sure.
I want to contact.
Yeah, if they go along to urbanallstarrally.com, that's the main site for it. And there's various groups if you'd like to support any of the charities. There's a team page on the Just Giving website, and then my particular team, 3 Men in a Boat. That's going to be me, my brother and my dad, so please wish us luck as the family have a little either bonding or separating experience over the journey.
I'm quite interested in names. I mean, obviously, how did you come up with Urban Media?
Now, urban media is interesting. It was one of those, and you sometimes hear songwriters coming out with it where they literally just got it. So I'd love to tell you there was a real long sort of branding exercise that we undertook to get urban media, and we didn't. What I did want is something that was raw. I don't, within marketing there's a lot of people where it's very fluffy and it's smokes and mirrors, and the book, for example, is totally against that. I like the nuts and bolts, and maybe that's my Yorkshire background, but I like to be raw about things. So urban suggests street and streetwise, but that's the only connection really. It was just one of those moments where we came up with a name, and it's a great name.
It is, and now you are a young entrepreneur yourself, and you like to help young entrepreneurs. You had some working for you, didn't you, for a while?
Yeah, absolutely. We did, and I think that was possibly the last interview we did when we had some of the guys from the local National Enterprise Academy working with us. I do a lot of that sort of mentoring, so not just with those entrepreneurs. I like going in to schools and working with the local schools as well on enterprise. I just think that we should all be giving back. It's business is too much about take, but we can help to inspire others. So that's something that I'm very passionate about.
Tell us about helping entrepreneurs. They were some very special people that came in to work with you. I was really impressed. They weren't green kids, were they?
No, and I think this is the challenge to business now. We are doing more and more enterprise in schools, and that's now starting to filter through. So we are going to see a lot more young entrepreneurs, I'm sure, and our attitudes are changing as well. I think when I grew up, the job for life was what people expected, and that's way gone now. So youngsters in school probably don't understand that term anymore. So therefore our attitudes to, and I suppose our aspirations, are absolutely different. Plus we've seen all of the celebrity entrepreneurs, so the Dragon's Den guys, the hotel inspectors, the from The Apprentice and so on. They're all there. The secret millionaires. One of my customers is the new lady turning up on Dragon's Den this autumn. I think it starts, or in a month or so's time. So from Palex. So again, secret millionaire.
Well, tell us about her. I don't know about her.
You're going to be intrigued when you see Hillary on the TV. Hillary was first shown. She's the owner of a pallet distribution network, which has no ties for me being involved in transport, but she was involved in that. I grew it up. It's very, very big, and was on Secret Millionaire. That's how she rose to fame, as it were. But since she has done a little business troubleshooting program, and it certainly showed across her style, shall we say, slightly eccentric. Hopefully she won't take offence at that, but she's very direct and a great businesswoman. So it'll be interesting to see how she fits in with the rest of the Dragons, shall we say. Because it's definitely a very different personality. So
is the format of the Dragons changing then?
I think it's just James is trying to do something different, and they needed somebody else in. So the format, no, but I certainly think the dynamics will. Let's wait and see.
And have you had to create a separate website for her doing this program?
I have, and I think that's more common now again with entrepreneurs. We've got the Urban Media website, but there's also eltonboocock.com, and I think more and more entrepreneurs will be having their own profiles, because on there it's all of my social media links, it's my blog, etc. And the same with Hillary, separating out the entrepreneur from the business.
You've been twittering away like a mad thing. Do you blog every day?
Not every day. Now again, it's using the social media in the right appropriate levels. So I don't put anything out that I don't think is useful reading. So to blog every day, I think you would end up posting a lot of uninteresting, unuseful content. So I tend to blog in line with my column in the local paper. So it's similar kind of stories, maybe a different angle. So only when there's something useful would be my tip.
And did you get the column in your local paper?
Yeah.
So it is about sort of being very proactive, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, we've talked about how the Telegraph saying about how to embrace digital. Actually, we've got to embrace everything. That it's what we've always referred to as the marketing mix. I think the pressure is that digital is now more important, but actually we've got to look at everything.
Were you surprised at some of the business acumen of the young people that came in to work with you?
Well, remember that I'd already interviewed them originally when they were setting up the Pathfinder course. And we'd whittled down...
And what was that?
The Pathfinder course for the National Enterprise Academy. I mean, it was thousands of young people applying, and they were whittled down to 28. We rejected people. I remember on the day, my question to all of them was, how many business ideas today on the way into this place have you rejected? And for those who hadn't rejected a business idea or two, they were a no-go for me, because to be an entrepreneur, you get the ideas every day without fail. It's not getting the ideas, it's working out which ones to go ahead with. So, so they'd already been through quite a tough challenge, but I mean, it's just true to say they were, phenomenally gifted young people.
Is there anything finally you'd like to tell people? What's a message about the internet?
I think, first of all, understand the game before you start playing. It's when you start playing that you're going to invest cash and you're going to invest time. So understand the whole game and the rules of the game first. There's a lot to be made and there's a lot to be lost. So make sure you're on the side that's on the gaining. So that would be it.
And what are your Twitter buddies saying this afternoon then? Tell us just a little bit about that.
I certainly couldn't do that. There's a couple of them clearly wanted their company names put out on the broadcast, which clearly I've denied that.
Well, of course, because we're not allowed to advertise.
But earlier on, I did sneak in the word barnacle for a certain local entrepreneur, and that was as a direct request, so hopefully he's happy.
I won't even hazard a guess what that might be about, but I've learnt a lot this afternoon from you, and I'm sure a lot of other people will. And you actually handed me a very interesting little card. It's got a picture of you, details about all you do, but the ways in which you like to help people. But just remind people that there is a seminar on the 29th of June. It's lunch and networking. It doesn't seem to be very expensive, so you have to keep these things low price at the moment, don't you?
I mean, effectively the seminar is free. The £15 covers the lunch and the admin in setting up the seminar. So I just want to help people, to help them to stop wasting money, start making money online.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Elton, and I wish you well with that, and see you soon. Thank you.